Alright, so we have now achieved our boil, but before we add our hops, we're going to talk about yeast starters. So, in order to let your yeast have the greatest possible chance of success inside of your wort and making your beer, they want to be active and alive and ready. And you have your smack pack from Yeast that I really like to use, that I smacked a number of hours ago. And it's basically ready to pitch, but you just have a single amount of pitchable yeast in here. And you can actually take that and double it or triple it or quadruple it if you wanted with a yeast starter, so you can save a lot of money that way. What we're going to do is we're going to take some of our wort that has started boiling here, and we're going to put it inside of this graduated cylinder, and it's basically like Pyrex glass, so that way it won't crack under the extreme heat of this boiling wort. We're gonna first sanitize it, make it really sanitized. This sanitizer is always good, of course, inside of a spray bottle because it goes a long way that way. And just really get it nice and sanitized. Make sure it's sanitized. And this stuff is basically flavorless. This is Star San solution. And it's flavorless and odorless, and you'd have to have a large amount of it inside of your beer to really mess up your beer. So you just really want to make sure you sanitize everything that touches your boiled beer, even though this is going to be probably hot enough that it's going to it's hot enough that it's going to sanitize anything that touches it. So this is temperature safe tubing again, which is nice to have. And you also want to use some aluminum foil to cover the top of it. You can use a bung and an airlock and all that stuff, but it's pretty unnecessary. When making a yeast starter, you're gonna have a lot better success when you're introducing oxygen consistently to that yeast starter, to the yeast and to the wort in the like 18 or so hours that it's fermenting that very small amount of wort. So this is sanitized and ready. This is ready to go. And so in order to introduce that oxygen, you're going to want to shake this guy intermittently every few hours if you can, or whatever. Or if you have a stir plate like I do, then you'll be really good to go, because the stir plate will consistently introduce oxygen and air into your starter, and you'll be very pleased with the results because it'll provide you with actually a lot more yeast, and your starter will be finished in a shorter amount of time. So you really only need, depending on how much you're trying to grow your yeast by, depends on how big of a yeast starter you want. Now, you don't want too large of an amount inside your container, because just like normal beer, it's going to foam up, and it's going to escape the sides of your container after a little bit. So you want to be very careful of that. So it's best to really only fill a container like this about halfway, they say, like 1,000 milliliters, but I've done it fuller than that. I have almost 1,600 milliliters here. So we're just going to put the aluminum foil on there, leave it nice and tight, and then I'm going to put it in a water bath for now to cool it down. And once it's cool, I'm going to pitch my yeast in there and start off my yeast starter, so it's ready to pitch into my wort once my wort has cooled down.